Greetings, dear Earthlings. Lance here, and I'm back once again to do a spoiler talk about the film that I've just watched. I'm talking about the Avengers Endgame. Now, most of us have been anticipating for this follow up after the Captain Marvel movie. Now, I really enjoyed the Endgame premiere, which was held the other night, and I was expecting less of the movie, fearing that it might be less of a spectacle compared to the Infinity Wars. But I was wrong. It was great. Now, the movie started off as with um, Hawkeye, who has been with his family, and then suddenly his family became dust, as what has happened in the Infinity Wars. So that's what the first few scenes were. It's all about Hawkeye and his family turning into dust and leaving him alone as a lone survivor. Now, as the movie progressed, he adopted the identity of Ronan, in which he became a Punisher sort of type of character who would go around the world and kill the bad guys and criminals and whatnot. So that's what had happened to Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. After which, the next scene forwarded to Tony and Nebula, who during the Infinity War got stuck on a spaceship, and Captain Marvel saved them and brought them to Earth. Should I say, brought the spaceship back to Earth. And Tony, for a few moments, he looked very shattered, very skinny, fragile, and vulnerable. Um, there was a back and forth between um, Steve Rogers, or Captain America, and him, arguing about the philosophies or principles that they are weighing in to move forward with the whole situation. After which, they have plotted a plan on taking on Thanos, who is currently now living in a planet where he has turned into a farmer of sort. And together with Captain Marvel, um, Captain America, Thor, and leaving Tony on Earth as he is recuperating. So when they arrived at Thanos' location, um, I was really surprised about how it progressed. It progressed quickly. Thor, remembering that Thanos was taunting him during the Infinity War, he chopped off his head immediately, and that was like 20 minutes in the movie. And okay, and I thought that it was like a fake death or something, but the next scene where it showed 5 years later, it shows the aftermath of the whole thing. 5 years has passed, and then suddenly Ant Man got out from his quantum dimension thingy, where he was stuck there for, according to him, it's like 5 hours or so, or 5 minutes. But in reality, it has been 5 years that has passed since he left. So he explained everything about where he was and the possibility of time travel. Maybe they can save humanity and revert things back to normal, making those people who turn into dust come back to life. So that's what happened. But they needed Tony's expertise on this matter. But Tony actually denied, or should I say, refused to help them because he wants to move on because he is now settling, and he already has a family together with Pepper Potts. He married Pepper Potts, and they now have a daughter named Morgan. And he is focused on, or he is determined to raise up his family normally and move on with his life. So that leaves the rest of the Avengers to call on Dr. Bruce Banner to help them and aid them with their goal. So that's what happened. And during that scene, um, Bruce was like in his Hulk form, but now he is looking like a professor. It's like Professor Hulk or something. So they were able to convince him of helping them, and as well as having Thor in the mix. Now, talking about Thor, um, this time he was like having a PTSD or something about um, the events that had occurred in the Infinity War. During this time, he has become a fat god type who drinks a lot, and he became fat, and he has a dad bod, but it's not just an ordinary dad bod, it was like a fat dad bod or something. So that was quite interesting. And actually, for the whole movie, they didn't turn him back into his old self, because later in the movie, he joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was still fat uh, until the movie ended. So that was quite interesting, but he was still capable of fighting. He was still Thor. He is still powerful, but it was just weird watching him being on that state. However, I digress. So, the next thing is that they decided to collect all the Infinity Stones, which which gave them the idea of pursuing the time travel plan in order to collect the Infinity Stones, because Thanos destroyed them while he was on his farm planet. So that's what had happened. Now, uh, it was it was interesting to see jumping to a different time period, especially watching the 2012 Avengers, the very first one where Loki was the primary villain. It was fun watching them, and it was how they pieced the scenes together was perfect and flawless looking. It was fun. It was fun to watch, and it's so cool to see Steve fighting his old self, and then there there were some funny lines, exchanges of lines, and scenes where they were had this argument with their and altercations with their younger self, and then also when Jeremy Renner decided to join in, they went to the place where the Red Skull has hidden the Soul Stone, and in place they argued who would be the one who's gonna be the sacrifice for the Soul Stone. And ultimately, Black Widow was the one. She jumped off in place of Hawkeye, and Hawkeye was the one who retrieved the Soul Stone. So, with that being said, Tony later on agreed to help them and help them with the. Um, I should have mentioned this earlier, but Tony later on decided to help them after all. And he was the one who made the device for the time machine. So that was that. So after which, after which, they have, or Tony has devised a gadget or device where it's like an Infinity Gauntlet, but it is an Iron Man version of Infinity Gauntlet. So their plan is to collect the stones, revert everyone back, and then kill Thanos or whatever. So that's what had happened. So overall, that's the overall summary and plot of the Endgame movie. And the finale was that the old Nebula um, was able to read the new or the present day Nebula's mind because they have been connected, because Nebula is like a cyborg or something, and her brain was like interconnected with the future Nebula or the present one. So she was able to alarm Thanos of the plan, and in so doing, Thanos went to Earth and destroyed the Avengers headquarters. And an incredible battle ensues. It was quite a magnificent sight. Everything was flawless, and everyone had a chance to shine. And yeah, that's the whole plot of the movie. And ultimately, um, Tony Tony was able to snap the Infinity Gauntlet, and he was able to kill Thanos and his minions, and they all died and they turned into dust. And then they were also able to revert things back. The diseased people, half of the universe, came back to life again. And ultimately, Tony succumbed to the powers of the Infinity Gauntlet because the stones were too powerful for a mortal man to handle, and Tony died. So there has been two casualties. Tony and Black Widow died, and after which, Captain America opted to return the Soul Stones or the Infinity Stones to their proper places and their proper time period. So everyone was just like expecting to for him to be back within 5 minutes or so, because he can come back anytime. So after Captain America was able to put the Infinity Stones back to their proper places, they just saw Bucky and the Falcon guy. I forgot his name. The Falcon guy saw an old man by the lake, and they recognized that it was Steve Rogers. So what happened was he stayed to his proper time period in the 1940s during the war and after the war, and he married Peggy Peggy Brandt or something, or I forgot the Peggy girl during the first Avenger movie, the Captain America first Avenger movie. Yeah, so he was able to settle down and got married and gave the shield to Falcon, and I believe that he'll be the next Captain America. And that's about it. That's the whole uh, thing about the movie. So that's how the movie progressed and how it ended. So overall, the movie was beautiful, beautifully shot, incredible, and insane. It's like the best super movie ever. So for you guys who already watched the Infinity, or should I say the Avengers Endgame movie, tell me what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. I would be more than interested to read all your reviews as well. Thank you, and have a good one. Till next time, this has been Lance. Goodbye.